Lindemans Gueuze or Geuze.
Remember, life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I have got a bottle of Lindemans Gueuze or Geuze, depending on which region of Belgium you come from, that is how it's pronounced. I've just tried the Lindemans Faro, which is also a style of lambic, as is Gueuze or Geuze. I'm going to call it Geuze because I prefer the Flemish pronunciation. You can call it Geuze if you want to be French. I don't particularly want to be French. There you go. Yeah, I've just tried the Lindemans Faro, which is a lambic as well, as is this, as is the creek that this brewery do. And I have to say, I really do like Geuze. The Faro, which I've just tried, was a bit too sweet for me. On the aromas and everything was just really as you would expect from a decent lambic. Sour, everything, but they added sugar at the end of it, and you know, for the bottle fermentation, and it was just way too sweet for me. Didn't really like it, to be honest. This is the Geuze that they produce, and I really like this style of lambic beer. I remember the first time I tried it, I was in a place near Brussels, and we was in an Irish pub of all places, but they had this on draft, believe it or not. And I had a half pint of it, and I tried a mouthful, and I thought, oh, this is absolutely disgusting. Swallowed it, and I thought, this is absolutely amazing. And it was really weird because, you know, you'd take a sup of it and it'd be like, oh, this is horrible. And then you'd swallow and it'd be like, oh, this is lovely. Really strange experience. But I've reviewed Geuze's before. I've tried the Old Beer Seal Geuze, which was really good. That was an exceptionally good one. I want to see what this is like. So I'm going to shut up. Or do you want to know what a lambic beer is? I've explained what lambics are. It basically means it's been fermented using different techniques. You've obviously got the fermentation in the boil with everything else, and it's been aged. And then, you know, they use wild or spontaneous fermentation, which means not only are they using the yeast, they are using the everything else from outside, the bacteria outside. This is brewed with fruit. There's quite a big fruit content in there, and it gives it, the yeast that they use gives it a lovely sour, crisp flavour to it. So let's shut up and let's get this bottle open. Before we get the bottle open, I just want to tell you a quick bit about it. It's 5% ABV. It's a 25 centilitre bottle, which is rather small, as you would imagine, but that's what they do. All the ingredients are in Flemish and in French. I don't really speak either, but it contains the usual malt, hops, water and yeast. They've used fruit in this as well, and they've used wild yeast as well, or spontaneous fermentation from the bacteria in the air. There's yeast all around, on the fruit you get yeast. They've used that as well. It's the mad professor brewing some beer. That's what a lambic is. Let's get it open and let's see what is inside this bottle. Before we open it, there's the label. Lindemans, Belgian brewers. I always think of chocolate when I think of Lindemans. Don't ask me why. It's probably because I'm thinking of lint. There is the back label, all the ingredients and all the spiel in Flemish and in French. Let's get the bottle open. The bottle is covered in gold foil, which I really like. They've made it look like a There's a Lindemans logo under there. If you want to see what it looks like, look at the Faro review. they've made it look like a bottle of champagne, which, you know, you might think, oh, they're, you know, taking a piss. But actually, this has got a lot of the qualities of champagne. You know, got that dryness and the crispness. Well, it should do if it's a decent Geuze or Geuze. Yeah, and again, the sour yeast esters that are coming out of that are lovely. They're not strong as some of the other Geuzes I've tried, but they're definitely there. Sour apple mixed with champagne, if you can imagine that. So it's you know, you get a lot of sort of wine, white wine stroke champagne qualities in there. Let's get it into the glass. There it is. Not a lot, only 25 centilitres. That is slightly darker than your normal Geuze. Normally you'd be looking at a very light golden colour, but you haven't got that there. It's like an amber, light amber colour. Carbonation is fair going for it, but they're nice small bubbles. The head is non-existent. I'm sure if I left that long enough, I did with the Faro, and it went from nothing to a one finger head with all the carbonation in there, which was nice. Let's see what we're getting on the nose out of the glass. Yeah, more of that sour apple, sour fruit, and a touch of creaminess in that as well. Smells great. Let's get it down the hatch and see what is going on. Cheers. Yep, more of that West Country sour cider type flavour. Now, I've tried Geuzes that have been a lot more in your face, very sour, and this isn't one of them. I think they've added sugar to this, which has made it slightly more palatable for some people who don't like that very, very sour flavour. So you have got some, don't get me wrong, you have got some sourness in this, but it's not as sour as I would like from a Geuze or a Geuze. Having said that, it's not bad, it's quite drinkable. If you're a fan of cider, good quality cider, you will absolutely love this, because it is more like a cider than it is a beer. Even though it is a beer, the taste is more reminiscent of a cider, I think anyway. A good West Country cider, fair bit of carbonation in that, but look at the bubbles. You don't get that massive horrible carbonation. You get very nice just simmering, pushing the flavour around, and it goes down very nice. And don't get me wrong, you do get it repeating on you as well, so the carbonation is definitely there. The edge has been taken off that. You don't get that, you know. I tried the who was it, the Siren Calypso yesterday. That's their dry hopped sour, and that was really like, whoa, you know, tart, you know, really sort of makes your tongue pucker. This doesn't do that, and this is very reminiscent of the first time I tried a Geuze. I'm used to the flavour now, but where it was, you know, really sour on the tongue and in the mouth, as it went down, it was really sweet, and you think, oh, this is like a Jekyll and Hyde of a drink, because, you know, on the one hand you think this is horrible, this is disgusting. Remember, this is the first time I'd never tasted it before, didn't know what to expect. I just thought it was going to be like another lager, and yeah, as it went down, it was very, very sweet. but it's really nice. As Geuze's go, that is not a bad one. Quite dry on the mouth, sweet on the aftertaste. But yeah, everything you'd expect from a Geuze, just a little bit sweeter. And Lindemanns seem to do that. They seem to put, a lot of emphasis on sweetness as well, which is okay. I mean, that's their style. So what's the verdict? It's okay. If you like cider, if you like your sweet West Country cider, you're going to like this, because this is nice. Have I tasted better? Yes, I have. I'd recommend the old beer cell Geuze or Geuze, depending on how you want to pronounce it. That was much nicer, and it was very tart and sour, which is what I'd expect, and it was sour all the way down as well. A cross between like a champagne and a very dry cider. That's what I'd be expecting. You don't get that with this. This has got more sweetness going on in it, which is fine. This is a good introduction to lambics and to the Geuze style as well. I wouldn't recommend going for straight to the old beer seal. That'll probably put you off for life if you're not expecting that sourness. But this is not, all in all, this is not bad. I would give that, as I did with the Faro, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. The reason I would, it is good, but I've tasted better. So yeah, I'm not going to say don't buy it, but these are good introduction beers. If you really want to try out the style, there's only 25 centilitres in it, so you're not going to be wasting much. And these are cheap as well. These are about they're under €2, so they're quite cheap. And yeah, these are a good introduction into style. Not too harsh. If you want to jump right in the deep end, go to old beer seal and get their Geuze. Oh, that's a seriously good one. As is their Lambic Creek as well. Their cherry lambic, beautiful. But yeah, I'd give this a 7 out of 10, and I'd recommend it. And as I always say, beer is working class champagne.